Unfortunately for Mayhem, she didn't get very far, and in episode 11, she's caught pretty quickly by Calypso's men and brought back to Calypso. He starts playfully asking, "Why are you leaving us? I mean, don't you want to see your friends in the final round?" But she emphatically says, "Those aren't my friends." Because after what she overheard, she feels like her, Quiet, and John aren't friends. She tells Calypso, "I just want to get out of here." And he says, "Yeah, unfortunately, you saw something you weren't supposed to see, so we can't let you go." And even after Quiet says, "Look, I'm not going to tell anybody," he can't take the chance. She is to be his guest at the final competition, and it's not like she has a choice in the matter. After she agrees, Calypso goes over to the PA and announces to everybody that he has a special treat for him. It is an omelet station, and it is a treat. It's such a welcome sight that even Mr. Grimm and Sweet Tooth sort of put their differences aside when they get that fluffy, eggy goodness. Don't get it twisted, though. They still want to kill each other really, really badly, and they both vow to do so in the next round. Two people, though, that skipped the omelet station were Quiet and John. They were busy having sex. But after the post-nut clarity, Quiet says, I got to go check on the kid. And as they both walk to do so, neither of them actually wants to be the one to tell her, "Yeah, kid, we're not taking you with us." Eventually, though, that responsibility is going to lay on John, but he doesn't have to do it, because when they get to Quiet's room, they find that she is gone. Before they can talk about where exactly she might have gone, somebody sneaks up behind them and puts a bag over their head and kidnaps them. And they did this to all the competitors. They load them up into a school bus, they take them to the next arena, and when the group gets out there, after collecting their bearings, they start looking around and realize exactly where they are. It's not a normal arena. I mean, it is in the sense of one that we know, but there are spectators, tons of them, and they are going nuts for the competitors that are still left. I mean, some of these people, like Sweet Tooth, even have a fan section that are cheering their name. And for some of them, like Sweet Tooth, it is really exhilarating. For others, like John, he finds this whole situation messed up because now they're realizing that this whole competition has been broadcast for the public. They didn't realize it, but they were the world's entertainment. And now, the final round and most of their deaths will be the exact same. Entertainment. After watching a few of their highlights throughout the tournament, Calypso then welcomes everybody and starts going through a spiel about how outsiders and insiders are now coming together to watch this event. But as he's rambling on, that's when John and Quiet notice that by his side is Mayhem. But now we need to get on the competition. All of the competitors are lined up. They're waiting for the mark to go and run as fast as they can to their cars and then try to kill each other. A few seconds later, they hear that signal, they all race over, and Mayhem, Calypso, everybody in attendance watch as these people just try to eviscerate one another. Pretty early on in the competition, it looks like Quiet and John, who, by the way, are in matching roadkills, it looks like they're on the run a little bit. And Calypso turns to Mayhem and says, "Yeah, it looks like your friends could use some help." But she corrects him and says, "I don't have any friends." And that's actually music to his ears. He starts saying, "I thought they made you soft, but no, that's good. You don't need friends in this world." And the more he talks about the fact that you don't need friends, it's making her realize they are her friends, and she does need friends. Either way, John and Quiet are able to turn the tables, link up, and they're the ones that actually eliminate the first car. It's Stu and Mike. Mike was driving, and while they thought they had John on the run, he moved out of the way to reveal that Quiet was firing bullets into their car, and Mike got hit, the car crashed. Stu was really broken up about it, but that's one car out of the way. It looks like there'll be another car eliminated pretty soon because Raven is on the run from Sweet Tooth, but when he goes to fire a missile at her, a missile that would surely blow up her car, it's revealed that she's using some cheat codes. She put something in her car that had a force field, so that rocket did nothing to her car. And Raven, who at this point is indestructible, drops a bomb that explodes right under Sweet Tooth's truck and flips it on its side, so now he's eliminated. But that force field really pisses off Calypso. It's ruining the integrity of the game, so using his magical ability, he gets rid of it pretty quickly. Now Raven is on even playing field with all of the rest of her competitors. Even though Raven is really pissed off about this, she gets her head back in the competition, and she thinks she has John cornered at one point, only to realize she doesn't. John fires one of those boomerang missiles, and because Raven is just flat-footed, that missile comes back and explodes. It ruins her car, and she's in really rough shape as she crawls out of it. She's in such rough shape that when she does crawl out, she sees a vision of her girlfriend as a teenager. And she looks up, but, then she just dies. The next competitor to go is Mr. Grimm. John and Quiet, using their tag team abilities, are able to knock him off the bike, and then it's Sweet Tooth who finishes him off. Now, yeah, Sweet Tooth's truck is destroyed, essentially, because it's on its side, but Sweet Tooth was alive. And as he watched Mr. Grimm run from these two, when he saw him fall off his bike, he went in for the kill. Initially, him and Mr. Grimm get into a fight just on their feet, but Sweet Tooth is really big. He finally picks Mr. Grimm up, and he throws him, and he does so at an angle where his head ricochets off of a moving roadkill. And then he's just completely crushed by the other one. So Mr. Grimm, he's dead. With just John and Quiet remaining, Calypso gets up and announces that he's going to insert a little bit of a twist, a final boss. This is what he was referring to down in the basement of the school when he said they're never going to see you coming. Because he has his men drop off a robot/monster. It's hard to describe, but this thing is no joke. And Quiet and John have no idea how they're going to defeat it. They get a look, though, at just how powerful this thing is because Sweet Tooth tries to attack it, and he gets the piss beaten out of him. Sweet Tooth is really tough, but he's no match for this thing. While Sweet Tooth wipes the floor with just about everybody he encounters, this thing, which is named Minion, wipes the floor with him. I mean, it kicks him, and Sweet Tooth flies across the arena and slams into a container, knocking him out and putting everybody on notice of just how powerful Minion is. And now John and Quiet are pretty concerned. But they need to figure out what exactly its weakness is. What they realize is this thing isn't the quickest at turning around, so if they just keep circling it, they'll be able to find that weakness, and they do. It's in his back. They start firing and firing and firing, but eventually Quiet fires a missile right at its back, but it turns at the last second and just grabs it out of the air. Minion, holding onto the missile, goes to throw it back in Quiet's direction, but John is not willing to let that happen. He throws his roadkill in the way of the missile, and John's vehicle goes up in a ball of fire. John is thrown out of it and knocked out. Quiet and Mayhem are really concerned for John. Mayhem not really being able to do anything about the situation because she's standing next to Calypso, but Quiet is. She decides to take out Minion, kamikaze style. She runs full blast into him and then tucks and rolls out of her vehicle. Her roadkill goes up in a ball of fire, but so does Minion. At least you think, you hope. Theoretically, this would end the competition, but it doesn't, because there was actually one vehicle still remaining that was operational, and it was Stu and Mike's. While Mike was the driver and his vehicle did crash, it was still drivable. So a very oblivious Stu rolls out into the arena, only to find out he's actually the winner. But as he's celebrating his victory, as is everybody else, Quiet rushes over to John to make sure that he's okay and he's not doing great. Meanwhile, as Calypso announces that Stu is the winner, he will get his wish, Mayhem has seen enough. She kills one of his guards, she grabs his gun, she points it at Calypso and she says, "I'm leaving now." And he laughs and says, "It's not going to matter in a moment anyway." And then a bomb goes off in the stands, killing all of the spectators. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry. It'll be up in a day or two.